Welcome back, everybody. My name is Abby. Today, I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can give yourself a little massage. We're going to focus today on the feet, the calves, and the quads, and the glutes. Props I'd like you to have include a tennis ball, 2 blocks, and a blanket. We'll start with the tennis ball, and we'll start standing. So taking the tennis ball under one of your feet, you can start to roll your foot across the tennis ball. And you can just go forward and back, or maybe a little side to side, or maybe around in circles. Find a technique that you like, and don't rush it. Sometimes it can be easy to just really get in there and go fast, but I want you to really enjoy the sensations. Don't press so hard that it hurts. Just press hard enough that it feels like, sweet relief. And if you need to hold on to a wall or something for support, feel free to do that because there is a little balance element involved. Use this as an opportunity to start to breathe a little deeper and a little slower. And you might even notice both the massage of the bottom of the foot and also some gentle stretching of the top of the foot. I can feel it's the skin and the muscles in the top of my foot kind of stretching out here as the ball presses up from below. And then whenever you're ready, we'll switch over to the other side. Taking the tennis ball to the second foot. Finding a good spot, pressing into it, rolling forward and back. There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as it feels good. So feel free to find a spot that feels particularly good and just kind of hang out there for a few breaths, or to keep it gently moving. And again, encourage yourself to go slow, encourage it to feel good, not to just press with all of your might, but to find a level of sensation that feels like good and supportive. And then when you're done with your second foot, you can step off of the tennis ball. Give yourself a moment just standing on 2 feet, maybe spreading the toes, letting the weight shift side to side, and just feeling your whole footprint on the ground. And then we'll move next into a calf and lower leg massage. So you can set the tennis ball off to the side. This is where I like to use a blanket. You might not need it if you're on a soft surface, but we'll come to kneel and come into tabletop. And then I'm going to take my right knee and I'm going to press it gently into the back of my left lower legs, my calves. And I'm starting up near the back of my knee, and then I'm just rolling or pressing the knee all the way along the calves towards my heel. And then I'm coming back up, and then same thing, dragging the knee down towards the heel. And you can do that a couple times just straight down the middle of the calves. You can also kind of go to the side, pressing gently sideways and down, either to the inner or the outer. And again, there's no wrong way to do this as long as it feels good. I like to use my back foot or my top foot for guidance, so tucking my toes and then kind of guiding my knee back and forward. And only spend as long as it feels good to spend on the calf. At any point you want to switch to the other side, you can switch to the other side. And you might even just come back and forth a few times. So no need to press too hard or stay too long. Again, it should all feel good and nourishing. And then once you've done both sides, we'll switch to the quad massage. So you can come to a seat. You may want to sit on your blanket, or you might just be straight on the ground. Doesn't matter as long as it's comfortable. And then I'm going to take my left knee, I'm going to bend it, and then cross over to my right thigh. Take my ankle bone and my shin bone and use that to massage the muscles in my right quads. Now, one thing to mention, if your right knee is kind of hovering above the ground, I would recommend not sitting on the blanket, but instead rolling the blanket up under your right knee. As long as that doesn't make you feel like you're falling backward, but I just want that knee to not feel like it's being pressed past straight. So any setup that works for you, sitting on the blanket or blanket under the knee, or no props. And if this does not work for your body, if this is too much for the knee, the hip, or it just doesn't work for your dimensions, you can do a similar thing, just taking your hands to your quads and squeezing and massaging that way. And whenever you're ready to switch sides, you can go ahead and switch to the other side. Remembering you have options, sitting on the blanket, blanket under knee, or perhaps just massaging your quads with your hands. And you can release that second side when you're ready. Give both legs a little jiggle or a little squeeze with the hands. And then we'll come onto the back for our grand finale, the glute massage. And I'll give you a couple options to do this. One is with your tennis ball and one is with blocks. So the tennis ball option is a little bit gentler. The blocks can be a little bit more intense. So if you're going the gentle tennis ball route, you'll slide a little bit over to one side, tuck the tennis ball underneath your butt muscles, and then just press your weight back. And my knee is kind of flopping over to the side. That can be helpful too, to kind of get access to some of those outer hip muscles. And then that's just it. I'm just kind of shifting to the right and then to the left, pressing some weight into the tennis ball and then releasing it, moving the ball to different spots with my hand. No wrong way to do it as long as it feels good. And then after a little bit, you can switch to the other side, tennis ball onto the other butt cheek, rocking right to left, letting the knee kind of flop to the side if that feels good. So that's option one. Option two, you can take your blocks on their lowest height and then lift your hips up, slide the blocks underneath your butt cheeks, but not all the way together. There should be a pretty big space. Like I could fit both of my hands in fists between the blocks at least. And then I set my hips down, and then the edges and the corners of the blocks press into my glute muscles and butt muscles in a way that I like. But again, it could be a little more intense than what you're up for today, in which case stick with the tennis ball. And then same thing, just like with the tennis ball, you can move the blocks a little wider, a little narrower, a little up, a little down, until you find the spot that makes you go, oh, that's a good sign. If you find a spot that makes you go, ouch, again, maybe shift the blocks to a different spot. Maybe come back to the tennis ball instead. And then similar to with the tennis ball, if you're content with the blocks, once you find a good spot, you can let your knees kind of rock a little bit right to left, bringing a little bit more access to the different layers of muscles in your butt cheeks. Notice if you are holding your breath or clenching or tightening your muscles. And if you are, that is usually a sign that we're doing too much. So see if you can either release a little bit, maybe take a break, take a couple breaths and return, or find a milder version of what you're exploring. And whenever you're satiated, you can slide the blocks or ball out of the way. Give yourself a moment just to rest with hips on the ground. Take a couple deep breaths. And then you can make your way back up when you're ready. As you go out into the rest of your day, may your feet, legs, and hips feel fabulous and cared for. And I will see you soon.